Well, hello and welcome to Little State Big Voices. My light is falling, but welcome to Little State Big Voices with myself, Shahida, and my fabulous co-host Tracey. How you doing?
Hey, y'all. I'm good this fabulous Sunday, last weekend of April.
Amazing that has flown by as quickly as it has.
It is bonkers that like May is this week.
April was just a whew, and that was gone.
It was a whisper.
And it
It was
was
a whisper.
gone. It was just that was it. That was it. But we are Tracy, as you see, she's dressed fabulously. She's going somewhere. I'm
You
just
know,
going to
I'll be
market
booked
basket.
and be booked and busy. I do have my Dynasty shoulder pad shirt on. Yeah.
Where you off to?
I actually am going to dress rehearsal for TEDx Roxbury, which, as
Yes.
many of you know, is this Saturday, May the 2nd. So
Mhm.
I'm going to see the dress rehearsal and see all of our fabulous speakers say their talks for the last time as a practice until they hit the big stage. So hope to see
And
you
there's
all
some
there.
interesting speakers this time, you said?
I mean, we have interesting speakers every year, but this year, literally, I mean, we have I would say some heavy hitters this year for sure.
Okay. I'm
Yeah.
excited. I will be there. Starts at what time? Next Saturday, May 2nd,
S
right?
Yes, I would doors will open approximately 8:30, 9 o'clock. So,
Mhm.
the show probably actually begin at 10 AM. So, the earlier you get there, the better. It's at Roxbury Community College, so parking can be precarious. Be green and take the T in if you want. You can get off at Roxbury Crossing, or you can drive and, look for a parking space, park up by the high school or Reggie Lewis and walk up, but it's gonna be worth it. And RCC also has its own parking lot too, so
Yeah, and every
come
time
through.
I've gone, I've parked in the parking lot,
Oh,
and
good.
usually it's good. You might get chased by some wild turkeys.
They are
Go in
they are
pairs.
they are their own gang over in the Fort Hill area.
Stop playing. I remember walking last year, and it was like about a gaggle of them. It was like about 5 of them. And
Mhm.
then, in my walkway, and I said, "You know what? I'm just gonna cross over. You all have the courtyard. I'm good. I'll be on the sidewalk." And
Yep,
when I
yep.
left, they were still there.
You wanna hear the funniest thing about turkeys in the city there are a couple of funny interactions I have had with turkeys in the city, but literally right there in Fort Hill, my, godmother lives up there, and she lives across the street from this lot that has a couple of trees in it, and one day we were just standing outside her house, kinda, like, shooting the breeze, and we heard this, like, crackling noise, and we're like, "What is that crackling?" The turkeys were in the trees,
That
and they were, like,
I've never
on
seen it.
these dry branches, and that was the weight of the turkeys on these tree branches, was that crackling noise. And then when we looked up, it was like a gaggle, like you said. They were deep. I was like, "Oh my god, the turkeys are in the tree." So they may not, like, be able to hold flight, but turkeys can get they can get up in the air and they can get up in trees apparently.
Obviously, as big as they are.
Yeah,
Wild. Anyway.
Roxbury turkeys.
Love to see it. So I will be there. I will be avoiding the turkeys, but I have enjoyed this show the last couple of years. Matter of fact, I had my Roxbury Ted T-shirt on the other day, and somebody asked me. It was my mom who asked me about it, and I was
Yes.
telling her that I don't know if she can get a ticket for this week, but we'll see. And we're supposed to see Alvin Ailey at Friday night.
Okay. She should definitely, make an effort to get her ticket like
Mhm.
today at the latest, because it's going to be a rough one. We usually sell out. So, there's quite the chance that tickets may already be done, but
Mhm.
she can definitely give it a try. And t-shirts are also available for sale on the
Mhm.
website. So it's tedxroxbury.com.
Okay. So I want to start off with something for my Providence people, which include you.
Okay.
So this week, Brown Votes had a mayoral forum, election forum for the mayors that are running. Well, what do you call them?
The mayoral candidates?
the candidates running for mayor, and it was 4 of them. I only knew of Smiley and David Morales. I only
Mhm.
knew those 2, but there was a Mike English and Alan Waters, and Alan Waters is Caribbean American. He's been in Rhode Island for, he said, 4 generations. His great-great-great-grandfather coming in 1905. I
Oh.
was very interested to hear what he had to say because I had not heard of him before. He's served on a couple of boards for the, I guess, the Black Heritage Institute. He's done a lot. Of course, he's been here, his family has been here many generations. He's married to a Venezuelan woman who
Mm.
he threw that out there, wanted us all to know. And I have a clip of a question that they asked about education, and I'm just gonna play it, and I hope it plays, and then I want you to give me, your opinion on what he had to say. So,
Okay.
all right, here we go.
Okay. So, do you have anything to say before I share my opinion?
I will say that was probably the nicest thing he said, the sanest thing he said that night.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, it's not giving the ultimate winner of the mayoral race. I'll start by saying that if I'm just going off vibes alone, I don't think he has a chance. Sorry to say that, sir, because I was really intrigued by your 4 generations, your multicultural family, and what you might bring to the table. However, if I heard him correctly, he's saying get rid of the laptops. Is that what he said?
Mhm.
Okay. And then I was trying to really hear. It was a little tough to hear the other things he
Yeah,
was
it is
saying,
tough because it was on YouTube.
but he was just saying like get back to basics. I can
I
like
get that. I
I'm
was
not
with him.
mad at getting back to basics. I'm not necessarily saying like, but get rid of the laptops is unrealistic. Just because what purpose are you serving here? If anything, these kids have so much going on. There's so much in order to compete. Let's say in order to compete, because what he's saying is that they're falling below standards. They're not keeping up with where they should be. How are they going to advance by making them regress technologically? I don't see that. It doesn't make sense, and it wasn't a complete thought. So if he said something to support that, like we're gonna, limit laptop use, and then we're gonna, do more manual, handwritten, whatever assignments in maybe math or something. It wasn't clear where he was going with it, and he just also doesn't come across as someone who could manage the job of being mayor of Providence.
Right, and I should have come with the other 2, they would not upload, so that was the only one that I could get to upload clearly. It was the woke for me, the
Okay.
woke teachings that said to me, I don't hate it when people throw out that buzzword, and he did a lot of throwing out Republican buzzwords. He claims to be independent. He did a lot of throwing out those buzzwords that made you think that, he's not very progressive. He is not very progressive at all.
Yeah.
And he quoted Malcolm X, which I was just like, there's a part of me that wants to root for you, but a lot of what you're saying is very white supremacy, upheld. One thing he did come out and say, he said that Brown was the most un-American school in the country because of
Wow.
it saying the ideology that it supports. Basically, again, the woke was the start of it. So he doesn't he claims to believe in freedom. He's came out and said, I don't believe in communism. The world is ruled by communism, socialist. He hates Mayor Mandami from New York because that was like the last
Okay.
question. And when they asked that last question, I was like, get ready for it because it's coming. But I was very stunned that this is the man that's running for mayor. And obviously right now it's very tight between Smiley and Morales. They are,
Yeah.
pretty close. And Morales has pulled ahead a bit, especially after Mandami won New York. So this guy, it was really shocking to see a black man. 'cause he doesn't
Mhm.
identify he's doesn't identify as African American, and he's not, he's Caribbean, so I'll let him have that, but he doesn't identify as Black either, because there was a couple of things that he said about, like, his surroundings and being surrounded by, Black people, Hispanic people, Asian people, and he seemed to be okay with that, but he's very much pro-ICE, which was
Excuse me?
very much pro-ICE. He
No.
said that he has a son who is a Providence police officer, and he just believes in law and order. Very anti-transgender. He basically said he kind of tried to hide it a little by saying the question was, what would you do to support the transgender community in Providence? And his answer to that, I will do anything under the law to keep law and order, basically. So that's not a real answer to the question, but so you could see he has a kind of an issue with that. But I was really stunned, and he wants to call himself an independent, but sir, your ideology is not independent. And he claims that the rest of us are not independent thinkers. We're falling under this this pretext. He definitely attacked the Democrats, profusely in a lot of his answers. But I was shocked. So I'm glad that the Brown University students did this. This is the first of one, and I do say that if you are from Providence, you definitely need to watch the video. It's an hour long, and I did not think I was going to be interested. Listen to it while you're in the car. I didn't think I was
Yeah.
interested, but immediately they all caught my attention. But he definitely was on my radar.
Well, I'm erring on the side of caution of saying he has no chance because I said that about another candidate who is
Yes.
now sitting sitting in office in DC right now,
Mhm,
where I was like, there's no way. But I feel like with this man, I feel like there's no way in a city
mhm.
like Providence that you could make it very far, first of all, based on your platform, based on your presence, based on your vibes, being your anti, I'll say he's pro ICE rather than saying he's anti immigrant because that's just too much of an oxymoron for me to ingest as a
Yeah.
Caribbean person to say that. But and I will say this, I hate when someone from another country comes out and starts acting crazy about who's here and under what pretense they're here. Leave these
Oh, but
people
to
alone.
him, he's been here since 1905. His family's been here since 1905 and came the correct way. But there's a difference between how people came here 1905 and how they come in 2026.
Yeah,
It's
they
it was way easier then than it is now.
And not to mention, yeah, and I'm a big proponent of sending the elevator back down, right? And
Like,
this is
I love
given
that.
not sending the elevator back down. You're up in the penthouse looking down, and these people are waiting to come up, and you're putting your foot on them, and saying that your son is part of law enforcement. That's not a reason for you to have these ideologies and this type of behavior. And less on this man because honestly, whatever, you're not getting in. Morales, I think, has a really good chance here. I think that people like him. He's very engaging. He has a social presence, which I'm guessing this other gentleman does not have because like you said, you've never heard of him. I've never heard of him. He's not getting much coverage media wise. And it almost feels like he doesn't have a campaign manager and he may be running his own election.
He probably does because there are a lot of people in Rhode Island who think like him. And if you notice, especially when it comes to elections, we've had a lot of fringe, pro January 6th deniers out here in Rhode Island. So there's a base for him. And he probably does have
You
a
think in
campaign.
Providence? So Rhode Island, yes. But do you think in Providence he
And
has
no,
a
not
chance?
enough to win, but
Right.
you do have some that have that sort of mindset. I don't think it's strong enough in Providence, but then also too, we have, I hate to say it, he is, Caribbean descent, and some Hispanics might listen to him, and especially the part about being woke and, like, again, the buzzwords that he throws out, being anti-trans, buzzwords, thrown out, and then wanting, a reality back to what it was when he was growing up. That speaks to, some white people. He could get a little, momentum. I really don't think so,
So
but I don't.
You know when they show election results and it's like that person that got 0.8%?
He'll be that guy.
Yeah, that
The
I
other guy was worse than him. It
I'm
was
not too worried about him, but yeah, the other guy, these 2 are probably in there just to make it look like a race.
Mike English doesn't have the intellect at all, in my opinion. I
Which
don't know,
again, not a qualifier
but
anymore, but
he
go ahead.
didn't come off as mean-spirited as this Alan Waters did. That's the difference. He's not, and you know what the difference was? You had 2 young men or 2 younger men, which is Smiley and Morales, and they showed that they were younger, more vibrant. These 2 are stuck in, when I was growing up, and I get it because I'm stuck in the '80s to an extent, but everything has to progress, and sir, if it was not for wokeness, things would not have progressed, and your great great grandfather who came over here could have just ended up being somebody's servant, and that's the best that he could do because slavery wasn't here in Rhode Island. But yet and still he could have been a man that's working under whomever and never progress beyond that.
Well, and you
We could be a different country.
mentioned that the wife is Venezuelan or of Venezuelan descent. Now, if they were to
Venezuelan.
pull up to your house and snatch up your wife and start asking questions later because you aired out that she is Venezuelan, and somebody might be saying, "Oh, this is a great opportunity to go pick somebody up." We've
Whether
seen
she's a citizen or not, sir.
doesn't matter. She could have been born in Rhode Island Hospital. If
Mhm.
she even looks Venezuelan, has any semblance of an accent, she's a target. Like, what are you not understanding? I was watching something and I wasn't paying full attention, but some Latino serviceman who's been with the US military for 20 something years, his wife was taken into ICE custody. He's been a member of our military for nearly 3 decades. His
Mhm.
wife was taken into custody. And this man is like stunned, startled, can't believe it. He's given his life
Mhm.
literally for the United States of America for decades, and his wife was hauled in. And she has the paperwork. She's here. She was here legally.
Which is crazy because that's not like the only story, especially of a military man wife being taken or a military husband, being taken because they were not literally born here, but their spouse is serving in the military, and there's just no bounds to how low these people
Right.
will go. And then they can show papers, but they don't ask for papers. They want to detain you for months on months. And then, maybe you might get back to your place of residence, but it's not necessarily a guarantee. So it's a lot of lawlessness. And he's talking about he believes in like the, law and order. Well, we have a system right now, a police system right now that is full of lawlessness.
Well, not to mention, okay, the laws. What are the laws? The laws are not being followed. That's number one. And number two,
Mhm.
laws are being created that are particularly meant to target and disable and tamp people down. So, which is why there's this uprising of quote wokeness, because we have to be aware. We have to get our head out of the clouds and stop thinking that America really wants everyone to have the same privileges. They have shown us repeatedly that is not the case.
Mhm.
They don't care if you've been here for 4 generations. As a black man, you're still a black man. And regardless of what ship you got dropped off from or what island you got dropped off on, you're black presenting, sir. Your wife is Latina and she is also an other. Like, you got to stop thinking that if you toe the line, you're going to get the same privileges as the status quo average American white person. You're not going to get that. So
Mhm.
by trying to pander to these people, you could possibly get a vote if they are looking for a puppet. Because that's about it. That's really the long and the short of it. If you want to be their puppet and you want to feel like you're saying and doing something, you will have no autonomy, and they will come in and they will just prop you up. You will basically be a Clarence Thomas. But
Yeah.
go off, bro.
I'm very interested in the fact too that he was quoting Malcolm X, and I went to his Instagram page and I saw he had another quote of Malcolm X. So it doesn't. I
This is
would
what
love
is
to have a
giving.
conversation with this.
This is
Like, what's going on?
This is why I feel like he does not have a campaign manager, because who is just letting you run around willy nilly, contradicting yourself, number one, because nothing you're saying is giving Malcolm X. Nothing
But
you're saying is giving Black liberation. or, power to the people. None of what you're telling me about what he said even flows with that. So he's all over the place, and he looked like he forgot what he was saying mid sentence. So again,
Well, I forgot what I was saying mid-sentence too,
but you're not running for mayor of Providence.
but there were a lot of little gaps like that between him and especially the older person, you know?
No shade.
Yeah, because I'm up there with you, but sir, it was astonishing to see him, and he was basically telling the audience that when he came out with the brown thing, I loved it because it was like people just started cracking up laughing because he's talking about our children are being indoctrinated, but he didn't say what. And usually when people say they're being indoctrinated, they're talking about against religion, against holding America accountable for the sins that it has created and that it continues to do. That doesn't mean that you don't love America. That doesn't mean that you don't love being American. But if it can do better, you there has to be somebody that says you have to do better. And saying and throwing out woke again, that's just if it was not for woke ideology, we would not be progressed. Women wouldn't have credit cards. We wouldn't have the right to vote. Black people wouldn't have the right to vote. Those are the things that fall under wokeness. So when you say you don't like it, tell me exactly what about it that you don't like. You don't like that people say that trans people should be treated like human beings or gay people should be treated like human beings, that black people should be able to make the same amount of money as a white person doing the same job. Those are the things you don't believe in full equality. Tell me exactly what you don't like about woke.
Right.
And I need
And
that question answered.
that whole sentiment that people need to struggle, why are people so focused on we need to go back to the struggle? We want to come out of the struggle. You're saying we need everybody needs to do what I did. We're not going to do what you did in 1972, sir. We don't want to
Mhm.
do that. It's 50 plus years later. So some things need to stay in the past and some things we need to bring into the future from the past. And
Everything needs to be better.
there needs to be a balance, but it
Mhm.
needs to be for the greater good, and it needs to be for progress. It's not a matter of like, do you want to go back to like corporal punishment in the classroom? Like, what exactly are you talking about?
Probably, he probably
Because basically you're in so many words saying make America great again. Like that's the only
he
thing he
is.
didn't say.
He definitely is. He definitely has a red hat. He's trying to play like he don't, but he does. But then
He was
also
trying to show that good head of hair.
was it? I didn't see it. I'm just like, I was not impressed, but yeah, so but might as well get the other thing out the way. There was another performance last night.
Yes.
Did you catch the performance? Because I missed it.
I was trying to watch the NBA playoffs, just like
Okay.
our friend of the show, Teresa, and we
Mhm,
were rudely interrupted
mhm.
by a news flash. And I was like, "Oh Lord, what's going on now?" I was like, "Do I need to like call DoorDash and get like extra gallons of water and candles? What is happening? Did martial law start?" No,
Mhm.
it wasn't that.
I was
It
watching
was
TV, but I watching TV or was I home? I don't know where I was. 'Cause I feel like I saw it late, so I didn't catch it as it was happening.
So last night was the White House Correspondence Dinner, an annual event at the White
Mhm.
House every single year. It's for the press to come out. And I must say that this third attempt, if you will, well,
Third
let me
staging.
start third staging, right? Theatricals,
Mhm,
rivals some everything I've ever seen at Trinity.
mhm.
Um, Basically, what happened is a loud bang was heard. What was being announced? A loud bang was heard, and then people just started scattering like mice because they heard this loud bang. And then the president, who was sitting on the dais and on the stage and whatnot, along with Carolyn Levitt and some other folks, were escorted out because they didn't know what it was. Then it came out that there was potentially a shooting incident going on. Once again, they missed,
Fuck.
which is why we're just like, why are you trying to
That's why
cause
we know it's staged. But
more
can I say one
distraction?
thing? Right? Obama was in office for 8 years.
Yes.
And
Eight
after he
glorious years.
left office, there were a couple of interviews from former Secret Servicemen or whatever. And they said They were blocking attacks on this man on the regular. We just
Yeah,
didn't know anything about it. Just
that's
a regular occurrence. And I'm like, God bless those servicemen. But we never heard anything about it. They just did their job. Flash forward to these stagings, because I refuse to call them attempts. I don't care what MS Now tries to make it look like it was just everybody was fearful. There was a man sitting at a table still eating his food because he didn't jump up and leave. There was a woman in the lounge area in the hallway taking pictures of like the Secret Servicemen and everything running around. I swear if her phone moved, I think she was using like one of the hold sticks because it wasn't shaking. There was no fear in that person using the video. But also, when a president is being supposedly shot at, or you don't know what the situation is, why were they allowing you to videotape on your phone? Usually they're grabbing everything. They don't know who you are.
so let's play like this was real.
Yeah, let's play the game,
Obviously, the people who work for this administration are and underqualified, to say the least.
to
So
say the
even
least.
even if uh, the protocol for what happened with Obama was in place, that was dismantled because we're throwing out everything Obama and Biden
Mhm.
ever did. We don't like what we're starting our own stuff, and none of what they do makes any sense. None of it flows, and like you said, people are filming and recording. I understand people filming during dangerous situations. That's 2026. That's the life and the times that we live in.
Mhm.
But the amount of time it took for them to clear the president and the first lady was ridiculous. They could have been good and dead if this gunman, who's in custody, by the way, if this gunman really had malintentions. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know why I just keep thinking back to John Wilkes Booth. I'm like, there was no technology. He had to do his own intelligence. Like that man said, he didn't even have a laptop. Okay, he had to do his homework the old fashioned way. And he snuck up on Lincoln and bop, bop, bop. And it was over.
Mhm.
This man is like some sort of, I wanted to say a cat because a cat has 9 lives, but cats are cute and cuddly and we love cats. He's a cockroach
Mhm.
that just will not go away.
Mhm.
Won't go away.
Nope. Nope, nope, nope. And again, back to the staging of it all. The fact that the person who supposedly came in was in the lobby with a whole gun. You mean to tell me you all don't have detectors at the door? He got he got in the door into the lobby. In the door where
Right.
the president is. In the door to the lobby to do that much.
Precisely. Like, why is there no metal detector situation going on? Why is there not some preventative measure? You obviously know we're at the most high, we are actively in a fake war right now. That's not a real war. That's a war that's happening. So if anything, if not an American, wouldn't you suspect that there's like espionage that can happen, people from other countries wanting to, I mean, at any given time, the US president is in imminent danger.
It
You've
would
done,
be
and the only thing I saw that they did to protect him was one Secret Service agent got in front of him. Did you see that part of the video?
no. I didn't I literally didn't watch it
The
because I
way that man got up on the stage and just shielded him. They like surrounded him. And I guess that is the protocol. They surrounded him. It took them long enough. That's number one. Number
I heard
two,
that. I heard a lot of people saying they were moving extremely slow.
when that man splayed his arms, I was like, not on your life, because one to the head, you can have a bulletproof vest on. You're
Mhm.
willing to take one to the head for that. I would have rather gone to what do you call it when you have a crime against your government, treason.
Treat
I would have rather taken the treason trial. Like, why did you leave the premises? Because I didn't want to get shot.
Yeah, it's remarkable that we're going through this and they're pretending like this is a thing. He has this war that is unpopular. We have $4 gas that is insane. We have still these Epstein files that are out here that this man was listed like how many they talking about 30,000 times to a million.
The fact they're saying
Unserious.
motive is unclear. So they have someone in custody and the motive is unclear. I could think of a bunch of motives. You do you want to ask us? Because we could
Mhm,
tell you what the motives would be. And then Carolyn Levitt, who's on maternity leave, both she's there. You're supposed to
mhm.
be on leave. You're on paid leave now, but you wanted to pull up. You're 19 and a half months pregnant, but you pulled up I'm not even gonna lie, I probably would have went too.
I mean, it's usually a really fun event. It has not been fun with him, involved in it, and usually a president doesn't, I mean, they were saying he never showed up before or whatever, so this would been the first time that he's been there.
Mm,
I don't, so it just seems suspect to me. And it's not even that part that he showed up. Everybody knew where he was gonna be. It's the fact that a man walked through to the lobby with a gun.
right.
What kind of service do you have? That doesn't even make sense.
Because it was
It's
at
the
a
fact that
hotel,
people
right?
were videotaping. It doesn't matter.
No, no, I'm just
Oh,
saying, just to like frame it for
oh
people who aren't
yeah.
sure. It didn't happen at the White House. It happened at a
Yes.
hotel. So even more reason why before
Pat
this
down.
dinner, you would do a walkthrough. You would do
And
a whole scheme of how to protect the premises. Like this is not something like when
especially
you
if
and
you
I
had it
go to a
done
hotel.
before.
Right. When you and I go to a hotel, no one's looking, we walk in, we go to this is a whole other ball game. We're talking about the POTUS. And yeah, come
So
on.
I went to see Jerome Powell, who is the treasurer. Is he the yeah, treasurer? In Warwick, at the hotel in Warwick, where they have all their big events. We were not patted down, but we had to show our bags, what's inside them, then go in. He's not the president. He works for
Mhm.
the government. He works for the president, but they made sure that he was safe in Warwick, in Warwick. So you
I
mean
get
to
it.
tell me that this man got into a lot? You can't even go to a Celtics game. You
Or
can't
Red
go
Sox. Yeah,
to a
they're going.
Celtics game and not have your stuff go through the X-ray or and have to show your bag.
We were in the State House 2 weeks ago. The amount of scrutiny to walk into the State House where our local politicians are, to me, it's akin to like, what it should be. It's like going into a courtroom. It's the same. Like it doesn't make any sense. And
If
a
the
lot of
president is
people.
going to be somewhere, you set up precautions. There is no, again, back to the fake news. If a president is going to be somewhere, why is there not somebody on a roof across the street from them just standing there? Just help monitoring. You didn't even do a whole sweep of the area where this person's going to be speaking. Did we not see Kennedy get shot? So again, like you said earlier, it just shows how one, these people are not serious and how unqualified they are. Maybe you should get some black people to take the area and test it out so to make sure that you stay safe because your people are not doing it.
I gotta watch the video one more time because I think, and I could be wrong, I almost saw him stumble a little bit when they were escorting him out. And that gave me a sick amount of pleasure when it looked like he almost fell.
Oh, I would have
Oh
loved it.
my gosh, I gotta watch it again. But I think it was the rushing out. But I guess they had their little dress rehearsal. It was given third grade play, the whole thing. But
It
anyway,
yeah, and again, I'm just gotta bring up that the lobby and the fact that somebody was filming in the lobby and they weren't being rushed out, people running around with guns, you got Secret Service. It looked like there were some
and
military people
miraculously,
and you just video.
no one was injured, miraculously. Not one single person sustained
Not
injuries.
even fell.
No one
And
was there
and
was no stampede. There was no okay.
and what
All right.
about the old white man sitting at the table while everybody's rushing out and he's eating his food?
Listen, he said, I don't know if I'm gonna
I'm
get to
not
come
about the
back.
games. I'm
I
too
don't know.
old to be doing this fake running.
He said, I don't know if I'm gonna get a chance to come back to another correspondence dinner. Y'all ain't messing this up for me. Like, let me finish this little last grain of rice.
Unbelievable. Yeah. All right, done with him.
Done.
But also, we're done with Clay Thompson too.
Ooh, talk to me about it, because this is new tea for me. I don't know it.
Okay, so I know I haven't been paying attention to the president being having his little stage show because I've been on Threads reading through all the stuff about Meg and this guy Clay, him cheating on our girl.
Come on, Clay.
And she said, "You know what? Of all the things, I'm just gonna be, over and out. I'm done." She had like a s a statement, and what did she say? I have the statement here, and I'm so hurt for her, but she says, "Cheating had me around your whole family, playing house, got cold feet, holding you down through all your horrible mood swings and the treatment towards me during your basketball season. Now you don't know if you can be monogamous. Bitch, I need a real break after this one. Bye, y'all."
Go ahead, Meg. And she's having such a moment right now.
She's
She
always
is, but like right now,
yeah.
I've seen her in so many cameos. She was
Mhm.
on the Reggie Dinkins show. She has a
That show's
couple
actually
of,
pretty funny.
it is funny, and she's on a couple of episodes. So
Mhm.
opposite Robert Pattinson. Like these are big opportunities for her. She was in another show that I
Who's
was
she in with
watching
Robert Pattinson?
in Reggie Dinkins. He's the videographer for the.
No, that is Harry Potter. His name is not Harry. What is his
No,
name?
sorry. It's, you know what I'm saying. It's one of them little boys.
Yep.
You're right. You're right. It is Harry Potter. Robert Pattinson is Twilight. I'm so
Twilight.
sorry.
What's Harry
No,
Potter?
no disrespect to Harry Potter. What is that little man's name? Hold
I
on, I gotta
know,
Google
and
it.
I know it.
But that's a big thing for her to play opposite someone. What is this man's name? Hold on, I gotta pull it up. Do you know that's a big role for her? The man's name is Cheapers. What is his name? This is so bad.
And I know it's gonna Daniel Radcliffe. God
Thank
damn
you.
it. 2 old people trying to figure it out.
Sorry, I wasn't into but he in real life dates black women too. So that's something that's, I think it was cool that they did it. But anyway, she was in that. She was in another show I was watching. She played a prisoner at the end of some show that I was watching, and it was really good.
Mhm,
I
mhm,
cannot remember what she was just in. But anyway, she's having like a sustained moment. Like, it could have been a 15-minute thing for her.
mhm,
It's going
mhm.
far beyond that. She's a beautiful woman. I don't know. I'm assuming she was being monogamous just from the simple fact that,
Yeah, I think
she
it was. She was
felt a
really
type of way.
into him.
And they were booed up. They looked like an ideal couple. Now, with that said, historically, Halle Berry's been cheated on.
Ex
Beyonce's been cheated on.
mhm,
So, some of the, and these are, I point them out because they're beautiful and they're smart women, just like Megan. Cardi, beautiful, cheated on. Like it's just,
it
I
definitely
guess, yeah. And when you get involved with athletes, when you get involved with musicians, there is a stronger likelihood that there's going to be infidelity. It's just the nature of it. They travel a lot for work. They spend a lot of time away from home. It doesn't mean that that's a pass for them, but
yeah.
it's like, girl, you kind of gotta know what you're getting into. And I don't know if he was upfront with her or if he just got caught and then he had the conversation. If he had the conversation with her and said, "Hey, you know what? I don't know if I can be monogamous," and that was a conversation that they had before a cheating
I don't think that was
revelation,
the case. I think he was full in, and like she said,
and they did look
came to her
like
and
they
said
were.
he got cold feet, which, is reasonable, but you got cold feet with who? Some woman who's not interested in you, she's interested in dating Megan Thee Stallion's man, because it ain't about you.
Well, no, it's not. And he's at the end of his career. So let's be real. Like
Mhm.
your Splash Brothers heyday is like starting to sunset. So settling down with a nice girl like Megan, like maybe you could build an empire like J and B and get beyond it. But it just seems like, what she's saying is that, it concerns me when she's being kind of delicate saying your mood swings, because it's almost given that he probably has a really bad temper, which is a red
I
flag
was
and very concerning.
I didn't take it as that per se. I feel like dating an athlete has to be tough. And, they come home with a loss and like you say, getting older or whatever, it could have just been having a complete stink attitude. My thing is I've never dated an athlete, but I have athletic children. And when there was a bad game, just don't say anything. Kind of just, step away until they get themselves together. And that's probably what she did. But a lot of times when you are at your low, sometimes you treat the person closest to you like shit. And she's saying that she gave you grace.
Yeah.
And a lot of time we do give that person grace when they're having a moment or whatever. Give them grace. And
Yeah.
then you still gonna go run out and do what you did?
Yeah.
Unnecessary.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that much of a shocking revelation. I'm surprised it lasted as long as it did, to be honest with you. I never saw them as like they looked like a beautiful couple, but
Mhm.
nothing about him was giving long term and power couple. Like I was hopeful, but I'm not surprised.
I wasn't thinking a lot about either one of them. I just like that she was happy because I don't
Yeah.
really know who I know he's a basketball player, and people were pegging him as like a Russell Wilson type character. I never saw that, but, I didn't know who Russell Wilson was either. So I was just like, I hope it works out for her. And I'm glad she didn't change who she was, even though some people said that she kind of like toned some of her stuff down. I didn't see it, but I'm glad she didn't change who she was to fit into somebody that was supposedly the nice guy. Like, she's a nice woman. What are you talking about?
I,
Don't make it sound like he
yeah.
comes from like this perfect family and he should be the what you desire to have in your life as a woman. He should be desiring to have her.
Yeah. And I think about like a Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade. Like he's also famously stepped out, had a whole child on her,
Mhm,
but they found a way to make it work because he wanted the relationship, you
mhm,
know, and they decided, you know what, we're gonna stick together. We're gonna raise this blended family. Like it's not the infidelity piece of it, it's that it seemed like he just wants to be outside and he's leaving what my husband would call the 80% for the 20%. You
mhm,
know what I mean? Like the 20%, the hoes and the OnlyFans girls and stuff that's out there, rather than the 80% of the stability, this good relationship you can have with this intelligent, talented woman who matches you, if not surpasses you financially.
mhm.
She's 31. So I'm thinking the changes that we've seen in her are not just, oh, I'm dating Clay Thompson. It's I turned 30.
Progression, yeah,
I'm becoming a
growth.
mature grown woman. And she's if she wants a new boo, that's a snap of a finger. She can get someone else. But I think this would be a time to like, girl, just figure out who you are. You came out of the really crazy situation with Tory Lanez.
Mhm.
This Clay Thompson thing is fizzling out. Take some time, figure out who you are, who you want to be with, and get with someone who can match your maturity level.
Yeah, because I think that's probably the key is that it is a thing about maturity. And it just seems like so many of these men, again, it doesn't matter what you look like, it doesn't matter what you bring to the table. It's not ever you. It's always them. It's what they are lacking. It's what they, are see themselves as. And if you want to be a conqueror of women, then just do that. Don't buy a house with a woman that you don't want to be with. Don't be going out and giving her like Bentley. Well, let her, she got that Bentley, that's hers. Introducing her to your family, having her cook like the Thanksgiving dinners. If you don't want to be in a relationship or you don't think you have it in you to be monogamous, don't invite somebody to be monogamous with you.
And he's 36.
He's too old
So
for that stupidness.
he's getting closer to 40. Like you would think and when it comes to National Basketball Association, 36 is ancient. It's like that is you're wrapping up your career at
You
this
are
point.
definitely wrapping up your career.
Right. So like when they're calling, players OG, you're OG now, Papa.
Mhm.
You're not Jason Tatum, young
Looking
and
like a
spry
twin.
and 24 years old. Like what is your next move, Clay Thompson?
Mhm.
Because while you're outside, and again, there's nothing wrong with him having a a conversation with this woman and saying, you know what, I thought I was ready. I am not ready for monogamy or whatever. Something obviously, set this off, be it but,
He
what the
cheated.
media.
That's what set it
Right,
off.
right, the media is saying, allegations of cheating. And then you also have to keep in mind these millennial and Gen Z relationships are very fluid. So is it a thing where, like, and I don't know anything about it, like you guys already had other parties involved in your relationship and it spilled over? Because I'm seeing a lot of that,
I
and
don't feel
people.
like that was it. I don't wanna create a narrative and or put
Yeah,
that
I'm not.
even out there like that. I don't think that was it. I think from her statement, it was just very plain and simple, and then that was just one of the statements, and it's
Mhm.
just like, I'm not this is the one thing I'm not gonna tolerate: lying, cheating, and, infidelity. That's
Well, yeah, if she
plain and
said it,
simple.
then that's what we know, right? That's what
Mhm.
we know. So, yeah, yeah, girl,
Unnecessary.
you're gonna have to vet, you're gonna have to vet the next one extra hard, because right now it's just two bad ones that we know of. I don't know who
Mhm.
she was dating before Tory Lanez, but again, she's a young woman. She should. Taylor Swift has dated like 50 dudes until she found the one she thinks is right for her.
Mhm.
So it is what it is. But they're under a microscope. They're celebrities. So any and everything they do is going to be amplified. Everybody can't be. What he should be doing is trying to, I think, follow along like a Steph Curry. That was your friend, your colleague for the longest time. I'm not saying that, but if you're going to be with someone, follow an example like that where it's given family oriented. Never hear people say that Steph Curry is cheating, and he may be out there doing what he does.
I don't
You
hear
don't
that
hear
about
you don't
LeBron
hear it,
either.
and you don't see. I don't hear any. If anything, people really highly respect Savannah and their
Love
relationship and their
Savannah.
family. Yeah. So,
Love
but
Savannah. And so it's not impossible, it's what you choose. I mean, you don't sleeping with somebody when you're involved in a serious relationship with someone is a choice because
mhm,
you have to set it up. And all along the way, you can say, I don't want to hurt this person. I don't want to do this to this person. I don't want this to happen. There's so much that you can do before you get to that point to stop.
yeah,
So it's a choice that you actually make. You made this choice. How she found out, we don't know. Maybe he told her, maybe someone else told her, but it doesn't matter. You made the choice and just lay in the gutter with your new girlfriend.
yeah. And do you remember that one Instagram that we were looking at with different ways that people found out that their spouse was cheating? Do you remember us sharing that like a week or two ago? And it was
I
like
feel like it's very familiar. Yeah.
one woman, the guy was supposed to be like somewhere and he was doing a FaceTime and the reflection showed the woman in the background. Like there's just like there's so many ways to get caught up. Like even if you think you're doing everything perfectly, technology sometimes can be, the thing to give you away.
Or the one where the woman was away on vacation. No, she was away on a work trip, and her
Yes.
phone was connected to her scale, and
Mhm.
the mistress had slept over and got on her scale, and it weighed her,
Yes.
and she got
Yes.
the notification. That one was perfect.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
first of all,
So
she was in my bed, but the bitch put her pinky toe on my scale?
the nerve.
Audacity. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, there are, like, so many crazy ways that you just don't know. So, he probably got
Yep.
busted in one
And
of those.
women are the best detectives. In case you didn't know, men, women are the ultimate snoops and PIs. When I tell you, we are Clouseau, we are Shirleycia Holmes, we are all of it wrapped up in one. So
But,
mess around if you want to. We gonna find out.
also, our intuition is just
Unmatched.
unmatched because once you get that gut feeling, and it could be as little as him saying, "Oh, I'm just going to the store, I'll be right back." And you just be, I don't even know, like the way he just said that sentence.
Yeah.
Something about that sentence, as regular as it is,
The way you hit that last syllable just was
just
off. That's
everything
not.
going off at the same time. Yep. So it could be something that you think that you are just so mundane and you just got it in the bag.
we have
Her senses are going off.
We have spies everywhere, also, people that can't wait to tell us what's going on out here.
Because
So,
you always have
yeah,
that friend, not friend,
mess around if you
who
want to.
definitely is happy to come back and tell you. So,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
I feel bad for her. A lot of people kinda, like, went in and said how, her mom died, her dad died, and her grandmother just died not too long ago, so she doesn't have family, like,
Yeah.
extended family, and that was part of what they saw with her when she was going on vacation with, him and his family. You created a whole nother, world for her, or, what we thought. That's kind of sad because you do think about those things and it's just her. Like no siblings, anything. I'm like, "Oh yeah, she really is out here." But she has enough like, people I'm sure that, got her.
If he was my nephew, I'd slap him on the back of
I'd
his
cuss
head.
him out. I would cuss him out really, really bad. And I don't care even if it wasn't Megan, that's just one of those things that, I do not sign off on. If you don't wanna be with somebody, then don't be with them. Don't give them the hope and the idea that you're monogamous when you're not, period.
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
like that. That's just cruel.
She'll be on to the next, hopefully to be someone who's worthy.
How old is she?
31.
31? I got a son, Megan.
Listen, they would be a cute couple, and he's tall
Son,
too.
Megan.
He's tall. How tall is Megan? I gotta Google that because I think that could work. We just putting them together.
I think my boy is like 6'3".
Okay. Huh. Okay. Well, let's see. Megan the Stallion height. She's 5'10".
I mean, I will get him in shape for you, girl. I will get him in shape for you.
Yeah, but she's gorgeous. I love seeing her do her cameos. I'm loving the
I love
evolution of
that.
her career. I could see her going beyond music to more endeavors. She's got a lot of sponsorships and she's a very likable
Like,
personality.
I just feel like she has such a good spirit. She seems very, very likable, and I
Yeah.
it's unfortunate. Anyway,
Yeah.
so all right, what is coming up in Rhode Island? Anything?
Oh my gosh, so much is coming up. There's a sidewalk chalk thing that's happening at the skating rink.
A United States of America? A sky?
No, 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 the outdoor ice
Oh,
rink.
the one. Okay, all right, that makes sense.
Yeah, so it's like sidewalk. What else is coming up? Let's see. Of
I know.
course, ongoing is Trinity Rep has lots of great shows, including Primary Trust is going on. Let's see what else is going on. Food trucks at Roger Williams every single Friday, which is amazing. What else? Oh, A
Hopefully,
Bug's
the weather
World.
will change for us. It doesn't look
Yeah.
like this week, but hopefully, come on.
It's been like hot, cold, and I'll go outside with no coat on, and hence why people are getting bronchitis right now.
Yeah, I was sick on Thursday and Friday, and oh, matter of fact, on Thursday, I was so I stayed at work till, like, 2, and I was just like, "I just don't feel good," and I came home, I literally put my bag down, sat on the couch, and did not wake up again until, like, 5:30. I was out
Mm.
cold, but I felt better afterwards, but everything is going around.
Well, I'm glad you're feeling better. Family stuff that's going on, like, so there's the Bugs World at Roger Williams,
Oh,
which,
that sounds cool.
I think that actually starts today. It's like you remember Honey, I Shrunk the Kids?
Yes.
It's like that. It's like these giant bugs and plants at Roger Williams. So that looks like fun. And I believe it's through the month of August.
Mhm.
Also, Fairy Garden Days at Roger Williams Botanical Center. That actually ends on the 30th. So if you want to catch that,
Oh,
you need
yeah,
to
okay.
go do that. What else? John Legend is coming. That's also tonight.
Mhm.
So if you're listening today, you missed it if you don't have your ticket because John Legend's already here. But that seems like it's going to be good because it's an evening of songs and stories. So that's the
Okay.
kind of stuff. It's at the vet. What else? Lots of different stuff. I will continue to post on our pages, but lots going
I
on.
will send you the I'm gonna post the YouTube to the mayoral, forum.
Please.
Feel like if you're from Providence, you definitely need to read it. I feel like Smiley and Morales did a great job. That's a choice that, people of Providence have to make, but they too they did fine, but the other 2, you just need to be aware to know that these people are in your streets trying to say they wanna run your city, and you can't have it.
Oh my gosh. Oh, you know what else is happening? Rhode Island Fashion Week is also coming up. And it's this weekend. So you definitely need to go check that out. If you're not going to make it into Boston for TEDx, consider Rhode Island Fashion Week, which is also taking place. Shout out to Yemi, who's the founder and the
Mhm.
hostess of that. Lots of big things happening. So again, keep checking our socials, Facebook and Instagram, for repost and resharing of these activities. But that's fire. If I wasn't going to be, at TEDx this weekend, I would 100% be there.
That sounds interesting. All
Yeah.
right. Well, until next time, I hope everyone enjoy the week.
Yeah.
Happy May Day coming up.
And Cinco de Mayo, I don't want to see no racists eating no tacos
You know they will be out
on
there.
Cinco de Mayo.
They will
I, wa- I,
be
wa-
out there.
I want every Mexican restaurant to put anybody in a red hat talking trash out of their establishment.
That's my
you're,
parents' anniversary too.
you're not allowed to have a single taco, a birria, a quesadilla. And I don't want to see you. If I see you with a margarita, I'm going to slap it out your hand.
Okay. Well, I don't know who's who, so I'm just gonna mind my business.
Listen, if I hear the wrong thing, spoop.
But until then, enjoy your week, and we will catch you next time.
All right. Until then.